Not long ago, I was trapped in a cycle that I thought was the right way of doing things. I believed that every project had to be planned to perfection before I could make a start. I pore over every detail, agonize over every decision, and refine endlessly. That is until the deadline slipped, progress stalled, and my confidence just waned. This might sound familiar, so today I want to share why I stopped chasing perfection and how that shift completely transformed not just what I built, but how I built it. Let me start with an example. Not too long ago, I was leading a complex overhaul, a multi-channel service with a UX, backend, legacy interface, stakeholder alignment, the works. I was that person who meticulously polish every Jira card, draft every user flow, prepare every presentation as though the board of directors would sit through it end to end. And that felt, at the time, so productive. And then reality hit. Edge cases surfaced that I hadn't considered, stakeholder priorities shifted overnight, we spent more time adjusting and less time delivering. And the result, burnout, frustration, missed opportunities. I realized at that time that perfectionism, instead of being an asset, had become my biggest obstacle. And this isn't just my experience. A meta-analysis by the APA, the American Psychological Association, found that maladaptive perfectionism, this is where people set unrealistically high standards and then punish themselves for falling short, is linked to decreased productivity, increased anxiety, and procrastination. Another international survey of 42,000 young people showed that perfectionism has steadily increased over the past 3 decades and correlates with reduced creativity, reduced trust, and reduced adaptability in the workplace. A Harvard Business Review article warns that 3 perfectionist behaviors can derail your ability to prioritize what's important. First one, reluctance to call decisions good enough. The second one, a moral obligation to over-deliver. Third one, overreacting when the work isn't flawless. In short, perfectionism just kills flow. So I challenged my core belief at the time and said, what if done imperfectly now is better than done perfect later? And this is how I rewired my approach. Number one, I thought about progress over perfection. I broke down big features into MVPs, minimal viable products, that we could build, validate, and iterate. So it was all about forward momentum, the focus on forward momentum instead of unachievable standards. Second one, feedback as fuel. Rather than hiding unfinished work, we shared early prototypes. We asked the hard questions. Will this deliver value now? So instead of aiming for large applause at the launch, we aim for an insight at the end of the sprint. And number 3, psychological safety, not panic. We made it safe to fail fast. Bugs and pivot-worthy mistakes were welcomed as data points, not an excuse for shame. When perfectionism rules, studies show that psychological safety just evaporates, and with it, creativity and trust goes. As a result of these changes, delivery speed accelerated, team morale rose, and the stakeholder trust strengthened because they appreciated seeing working features earlier and having their input shape the direction instead of being an oversight. Essentially, we became a learning machine. All right, so why does this work? This is because perfectionism paralyzes the decisions. You have to account for every variable. It consumes capacity with diminishing returns at a certain point, and it creates a sense of toxic productivity where just being busy becomes that badge of honor. But this erodes well-being over time. Now, the opposite of perfectionism is progress thinking. It's all about promoting iteration and learning. It's about building resilient feedback loops. It's about encouraging adaptability as the environments and the needs evolve. Now, in psychology, researchers like Joachim Stober talk about 2 distinct types of perfectionism: adaptive striving and maladaptive evaluating. Adaptive striving is the healthy kind. It's when you set high personal standards, work hard, feel motivated by the progress. People with this mindset push themselves, but they don't fall apart when things go wrong because it's goal-driven, not fear-driven. Now, maladaptive evaluating, on the other hand, this is where perfectionism turns toxic. This is where you're constantly worried about making mistakes, being overly critical about your own performance, and being driven by a fear of judgment or failure. It doesn't inspire action, it just creates anxiety, procrastination, and burnout. Studies have shown that while adaptive striving is linked to better outcomes like performance and satisfaction, maladaptive evaluating is tied to depression, stress, and even serious physical health problems. The key difference: one helps you grow, and the other keeps you stuck. One 2024 Duke study specifically showed perfectionism decreases productivity and increases vulnerability, suggesting that effectiveness lies in knowing when something is good enough to deliver while still allowing room for refinement. So here are some practical steps you can apply. Number one, set enough criteria, the threshold, and define what success looks like before the final polish. E.g., feature X will work on 3 core flows. Number two, time box improvements. Allocate a fixed time for revisions and quality. Once it's done, move on. Number three, share early and share often. Include stakeholders in that process. That raw, unfiltered, early feedback beats that late stage perfectionism every time. Number four, celebrate small wins. Completion, even imperfect, deserves recognition and it fuels momentum. And finally, number five, reframe mistakes. Treat bugs like learning points, not failures. This mindset shift matters most in teams. Agile thrives on feedback, flexibility, and small batches. If perfectionism is baked into your culture, you lose velocity, creativity, and you lose team cohesion. Studies have shown that cutting perfectionist expectations from organizational culture increases trust, collaboration, and psychological safety. So if you're leading a team, you're not just speeding up delivery, you're enabling a healthier, more innovative work environment. And if this resonates with you, ask yourself, what is it that you're polishing right now that doesn't need any further polishing? Just take that one decision, take that one feature, take that one deliverable, and launch it with a good enough criteria. See what you learn from users and from metrics and from honest feedback. Then tell me below what surprised you, what worked, what felt uncomfortable, and a comment. I want to hear your story. To sum up, perfection feels safe, but it's a silent killer of progress. When you trade perfection for purpose, complexity for clarity, and delay for delivery, you unlock momentum. So done is better than perfect. You need to build more, learn faster, feel lighter together. Thanks for watching. Drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.